Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 155. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving it a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of Hookah House. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by his story. Let's chop it up with Barry Robinson. Barry, how's it going, man?
How you doing, man? Can't complain.
Glad to hear that, man. All is well on my end, too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today.
Yes, sir. Of course, here to talk about Hookah House and all the great things you're doing with the business. But before we talk business, let's get to know the man behind the brand. Born and raised in Fort Deposit. What was your upbringing like?
Fort Deposit, small knit community population. When I was growing up, was about approximately 1,200 people. Right now I think the population is declining. It's probably about 800, but that goes to say, like everybody knew each other. If you did a crime growing up, your parents definitely were gonna know about it because, like I say, not really any secrets to be kept. In Fort Deposit, just because everybody knows each other. I grew up in a two-parent household, so I had my mom and my dad in the same household with me. My mom's side of the family is from Fort Deposit, so pretty much all of my uncles and aunts on that side of town is from Fort Deposit. My dad is from Florida, so we'll go down there on the summers. They'll send me down there for the summer. But growing up in Fort Deposit, I'm actually glad that I did have that opportunity to have that country lifestyle growing up. I will say that it definitely affected how I am as a man today.
Hmm. Yes, sir. Powerful stuff. So it sounds like you had a close knit, tight village growing up in the 4-5, and it just shaped you into who you become today.
Yes, most definitely. Even the teachers at the school, they lived in the neighborhood. So, like I said, you couldn't do anything without getting in trouble. It's not like, you know, you might be got in trouble at school. You gonna see your teacher at the grocery store later on that day.
Yes,
She
sir.
gonna she
No.
gonna be telling your mom on the produce aisle that, hey, he got in trouble today. So
Yes.
you definitely gonna get caught. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's amazing. As they always say, it takes a village, and it just sounds like growing up in the 4-5, you had that village, and that's what it's all about, man. Appreciate you for sharing a little bit of your background.
Yes, most definitely.
Sir, so you grow up in 4-5 and ended up graduating from Calhoun, and you going up the road to attend Tuskegee University, better known as TU. What was the HBCU experience like for you?
Oh man, it was awesome. If I could do it again, I would do it the same exact way. I wouldn't change anything about my college life. Probably few of the best years of my life. Being in college because you're trying to find yourself as an adult. You stand on your own. You also you get some type of responsibilities with your parents not waking you up or making sure that you go to class. You got to sort of you feeling out how you wanna. I'm not gonna go to class today, but it's also, you don't go to class and you fail that class, you got to deal with that as an adult. So, HBCU experience is just great. Anybody, I always tell them, try to go to HBCU if you can, support the HBCUs.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate of HBCUs as well. I graduated from the Alabama State University and the good old rival of TU, but I
Yeah, for sure,
definitely
man. Yeah, yeah. And like I say, the only time I hate you guys, when y'all playing Tuskegee, but any other than that, I'm on state campus and I'm advocating for state. Go to state. It's a HBCU, so we got to support each other by all means.
Yes, sir, without question, wholeheartedly. And I likewise, I definitely support all HBCUs unless we playing y'all that week. Otherwise, hey, it's all love, all support, and just the HBCU experience, man. I agree, man. This everybody who looks like you and I should definitely attend a HBCU and get that experience because, man, it's nothing like going to a HBCU and you meet people from all over, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, from overseas, and just coming together and creating those lifelong memories. And I'm sure that's how it was at Skiki as well.
For sure, most definitely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And also, Red, just doing my due diligence that you served in the U.S. Army. I want to thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I joined the military. I joined the Alabama Army National Guard back in 2010. I did, well, I think four or 5 years in the Army National Guard before I switched over to the Army Reserves, and I stayed in the Army Reserves until 2021. I got out in 2021. So that's also, like I said, I met some great people. I learned a lot of great things in the military. Of course, it helped pay for school with its benefits. So like I said, I wouldn't change anything about me joining the military. You know, some people they frown upon the military, but you know, the military sort of put discipline in me to be able to function in the real world.
Yes, sir. That's powerful stuff. My next question was definitely going to be, what are some of those principles you learned from the military? And you pretty much already covered it, just that discipline. And I already know for sure you got structure in the military, and they teach you all about integrity. So I'm pretty sure those are some of the principles you picked up by using the military as well.
Yeah, integrity. You know, just simple things such as being detail oriented and being on time. Also,
Yes.
say for instance, you gotta like time is of essence. If you're on time, you're technically late. And most young adults, they don't understand that like being on time or just communicating. They don't know how to communicate. So communication is key. That's pretty much communication is key to everything in life. Communicate.
Yes, sir. I agree wholeheartedly. Like communication is definitely the key. And to your point, I mean, the younger generation, they have some room for improvement on the communication side. I'll just say it like that. I think honestly, Barry, I think the smartphone era and just everything being digital, and I'm I'm just forever grateful when I came out of high school and college, because when I finished college in 2010, it was right before the smartphone era really took off, man. I think the youngins just gotta. I think they'll figure it out. I hope they figure it out. But yeah, to your point, communication is everything, man. Powerful, yes, sir. So
Yeah, for
present,
sure.
yes, sir. So present day, you are the owner, founder, operator of Hookah House. What you got going on over there?
So Hookah House established in 2021, May of 2021. We recently just had a 3-year anniversary. We were originally founded on Burbank in Montgomery, and at the beginning of the year, I recently purchased the old Bluebirds building located at 6802 Atlanta Highway, and just wanted to get out of that leasing and renting and having a landlord that I had to answer to, and just trying to have ownership so that I continue to pay rent and continue to improve someone else's property that I would never own. I just wanted to start building into myself. Because I look at, rent is fine, but also, in a sense, been there 3 years, I could have had some equity built into that space. So I
Yes, sir.
wanted
That
to
make.
transition.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to transition from just rent to ownership.
Yes, sir. That's powerful, man. And that's a great mindset that you have. Like to your point, leasing and having to answer to someone, and now you've made that transition over into owning the building, owning that space. Definitely want to congratulate you on being in business for 3 years. That's no small feat. Keeping your doors open, a brick and mortar business at that, open for 3 years. Definitely want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And just in terms of you launching it in 2021, and of course, we know what happened in 2020. Pandemic popped off, and we were all unsure of what the next move was going to be. All we knew was on the news, people were passing away at a rapid pace, and it was just unsure time. And just in terms of you launching this business in 2021, in the thick of the pandemic, how were you able to stay afloat, especially during that time period, and like stay keep your doors open?
So in 2021 when I opened, we were still in the pandemic, but we were sort of coming out of the pandemic. It still was a hard time, but I think people were a little bit more eager to start trying to get out than with Hookah House being a new brand, and with me knowing people in Montgomery, it was just, I say a little bit easier. I had a cheat code to be able to get people to the business to take a look for themselves. And I felt like if we offered a good product and a good vibe, then we would get those customers to continue to return. So um, that's what we look for. We look for, each customer to come to Hookah House and have a great time. And I feel like if they have a great time, they're going to tell somebody else, hey, I had a great time. Then that person, they're going to come to Hookah House to see what's the big deal about Hookah House. And then once they see for themselves, they're going to tell somebody else. So I get a lot of repeat customers. I get a lot of out of town customers from just word of mouth, people telling people, hey, if you're in Montgomery, definitely stop by Hookah House. So I do feel like, for the young adults, we are becoming almost like a tourist attraction, especially like on social media, TikToks and stuff. We're starting to see a lot of new customers that come from seeing it on social media and word of mouth from their friends.
Yes, sir. Word of mouth advertising, nothing like it, and just that's good stuff that you launched in 2021. Like I said, your doors still open. You just expanded. Now you're into the ownership aspect. So that's amazing stuff. Whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, Barry, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. Take us back to your aha moment when you first had the idea to create Hookah House and open it in Montgomery.
Okay, so my first moment I thought about Hookah House is actually during the pandemic. We were doing the pandemic, and I had a lot of friends at my house. Each and every weekend they come into the house because, of course, everything's closed at the time, and there were also no, in my opinion, safe places to go in Montgomery that the young working class could go to. So we were just hanging around the house, and I was like, "Hey, I'm tired of being in the house. I think I want to open a spot that we can go and hang out at." So that's really how the idea came about. And I gave all of my friends jobs. I sort of made them work there. Say, hey, you guys gonna work, and that's
Okay.
how it started. Yeah, it was almost just like a joke in a sense.
Hmm. Wow, man, that's an amazing aha moment just in the midst of pandemic and the chaos, just having the idea of wanting to create, like you said, that safe space for the young working class and putting your friends to work. Hey, that's a real friend in my book. You gave a friend a job. You employed a friend. Like that's all right. That's how you keep the friendship going, man. You keep the money, you keep money in the circle and you put some money in their pocket, man. That's dope. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah, yeah. It was a great experience, great time. And like I say, it was all fun and games in the beginning, and then after about a couple months of being open, we started to take it serious. Like, hey, this is we're on to something now.
right. Absolutely. So from the time you had that initial thought, aha moment to create Hookah House, let's talk about the action. How long did it take you to come up with the name and actually get started with the business? How long with the business stuff? How long did that take?
Honestly, just brainstorming online, probably about maybe 2 3 weeks of brainstorming with wordplay, putting words together, and then finally I was like, I was going back and forth with House of Hookah, I remember, and then I thought about, I was like, well, Hookah House, I was like, that's got a nice ring to it. So that's pretty much how I came up with it. I was just like, Hookah House, nice ring to it, and I went with it.
Yes, sir. It makes sense. Very organic way how the name came about, and 2 or 3 weeks of brainstorming, doing your homework from the time you had the idea. Not a long period of time at all. So it sounds like you got right to it. Didn't spend a whole lot of time overthinking, overanalyzing.
Correct. That's I'm talking about. It was just straight wordplay, almost just like God just sent it to me, and boom, came up with the name. And I sent it to my logo guy, and I pretty much told him, I was like, hey, we want to go to Hookah House. I know that I want a house incorporated with the hookah, and that's how that logo came about, honestly.
Yes, sir. Makes sense. Very organic way how everything came about, and that's great stuff. The last portion, audacity. It's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to put action behind the idea. But to put it out to the world to be praised or criticized, that's where the audacity comes in my opinion. Who or what gave you that courage, that audacity to put Hookah House out to the world to be praised or criticized?
Ah, good question. Good question. Great question. Honestly, I didn't even. It sort of happened on its own. Honestly,
Okay, that's no worries. So it sounds
yeah,
like you gave yourself the audacity to step out there and
yeah.
make
It,
it
it
happen.
really, yeah. Like I say, it just happened on its own. Like I say, it was an idea that was honestly for fun, not even an idea to even think that it would, make any money. It was almost just like I say, a safe place because I'm still young. At the time when I was 29, and I still like to go out, and like I say, I didn't have any safe places I felt like I could go to in the city, without having, to watch my back, and have to worry about your car and all this different type stuff. So I pretty much did it for myself. And once, we sort of got into the business and figured out that it was lucrative, we started, to take the decision of opening up a little bit different. But at first, it was just all fun and games.
Yes, sir. It makes sense how you gave yourself that courage, that audacity to put it out there to the world, to be praised, to criticize, and it's still growing, expanding. That's what it's all about. Sometimes, Barry, all you need is God in yourself to give you that courage, that audacity to go forth, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
I give God all the honor and the praise.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. 1000%. So you've done great things with Hookah House, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are some of your short-term and long-term goals for the business you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so right now, I'm looking at locations. Trying to open up a location in Huntsville and Louisville, Kentucky. Right now, they're on my radars. Just looking at some different options as far as spaces and location. And
Okay,
then,
so
also most people don't know, but I also still have a full-time career also, where I practice architecture. So I'm always busy.
okay, sounds good, man. It just sounds like you want to continue to expand the business and you're still working full time in architecture, still crushing it. And I'm pretty sure whatever goals you set for yourself, long term, short term, I'm pretty sure you'll make them all come to fruition.
Correct. Thank you.
Yes, sir, no problem.
Yes.
So as we wrap up the podcast, Barry, I want to ask the $1 million question. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery, whether you were born here, lived here, or here for work, college, and military. You operating in business here in Montgomery, I want to ask you, Barry, what do you appreciate the most about the city?
What I appreciate the most about the city, I would say, the city has really started to diversify itself as far as minorities being involved. So I would say that's really a good thing right now with minorities being involved. The minority participation, especially in city business, has changed tremendously within the last couple of years. So that's honestly what I appreciate the most. Giving minorities some of the pie.
Yes, sir. Powerful stuff. So how can people connect with you, Barry? What are your social media handles?
So Hookah House is Hookah House 334 on Instagram and Hookah House on Facebook. We're located at 6804 Atlanta Highway in Montgomery. Also my personal Facebook name is Barry Glazer. That's Glazer. Last name Robinson on Facebook. So, you can send me a message, send me a DM on any of those social media websites. I'm also on Instagram at Barry Glazer Robinson. So I look forward, doing business with each and every one. If you haven't been to Hookah House, stop by Hookah House. If you're in the process of wanting your dream home designed or you need a commercial building, some plans for it, reach out to me also. I also can make that happen for you.
Yes, sir. Too easy. And of course, I'll put all of that information in the description of the episode. Hey, Barry, thanks again for the conversation, man. I really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone.